Unemployment, why it exists. John is walking through the city center on his way to buy more components for his workshop. He notices a group of people standing outside a local office, holding folders and looking anxious. He realizes it's a job center. John thinks back to his lessons on GDP and the circular flow of the economy. If households provide labor and firms provide jobs, shouldn't the system always be in balance? Why are there people who want to work but can't find a spot in the machine? To understand this glitch in the economic engine, John turns to N. Gregory Mankiw's analysis of the labor market to answer the big question: why does unemployment exist? First, John learns how the government actually measures this problem. It's not as simple as counting everyone who doesn't have a job. The population is divided into three groups. The first is the employed, people like John who are working. The second is the unemployed, and this is the specific part. These are people who don't have a job, are available for work, and have actively tried to find work in the last 4 weeks. The third group is not in the labor force, which includes retirees, students, and discouraged workers who have given up looking. The unemployment rate is the percentage of the labor force that is unemployed. John realizes that even in a healthy, booming economy, the unemployment rate is never zero. This is what economists call the natural rate of unemployment. To understand why, John looks at two different flavors of unemployment. The first is frictional unemployment. This is often voluntary and actually a sign of a dynamic economy. It happens because it takes time for workers to search for the jobs that best suit their tastes and skills. Imagine a stickman who quits a job at a boring factory because he wants to find a creative role in John's keyboard workshop. While he is searching, he is frictionally unemployed. It's like the time it takes for a gear to find its slot. It's a necessary part of a functioning machine. However, the second flavor is more troubling: structural unemployment. This happens when the number of jobs available in some labor markets is simply not enough to provide a job for everyone who wants one. This usually occurs when the wage is stuck above the level where supply and demand balance out. John identifies three main reasons for this stuck wage. First, there are minimum wage laws. If the government sets a legal minimum wage that is higher than what some workers' labor is worth to a firm, the result is a surplus of labor. More people want to work at that high wage than there are jobs available, leaving some people on the outside looking in. Second, there are unions. A union acts like a cartel, using collective bargaining to push wages above the equilibrium level. While this helps the insiders who keep their jobs, it often creates unemployment for the outsiders who are left behind. The third reason is the most fascinating to John: efficiency wages. Sometimes, firms choose to pay their workers more than the market rate. Why would John pay his assistant more than he has to? According to the theory, higher wages make workers healthier, more productive, and less likely to quit. It's a carrot that ensures loyalty and hard work. But again, if every firm pays an efficiency wage, the total number of jobs shrinks and structural unemployment rises. As John continues his walk, he sees a headline about a recession. This introduces him to cyclical unemployment. While the natural rate is the long-term average, cyclical unemployment is the year-to-year fluctuation. When the economy slows down and GDP falls, firms need fewer keyboards, fewer coffees, and fewer workers. This is the breathing of the system that John studied in the circular flow. When the system exhales, unemployment spikes. John feels a mix of empathy and understanding. He realizes that unemployment isn't just a personal failure. It's often a result of the complex mechanics of information, legislation, and psychology. Understanding the why helps John as a business owner. He realizes that finding the right worker takes time, frictional, that the wages he sets affect his team's productivity, efficiency, and that the broader economy determines how many people will be standing outside that job center, cyclical. He returns to his workshop with a deeper respect for the labor part of his business. He isn't just buying hours of time. He is participating in a delicate market where the price of work, the wage, determines the livelihoods of millions. He decides to be a high-efficiency employer, paying a fair wage to ensure his team stays motivated, while staying mindful of the shifting tides of the global stage. John knows that while he can't fix the national unemployment rate alone, understanding the forces behind it makes him a smarter, more compassionate leader in his own corner of the world.